Morning guys, Monday the 7th of December. It's a bit nippy, but fresh. So I was delivering a 3-day course on the psychology of human relationships the last 3 days, and yeah, I mean, I really just intriguing on so many levels. I mean, the main focus was about intimate relationships, and getting to a point where you can create and develop and commit to a healthy relationship, but also what that really means, and then the psychology behind not only how relationships work, but also we've got the people on the course to do various activities to consider their current sort of feelings, their previous experiences, attachment styles, which can impact on how somebody goes into a relationship. But what really struck me was, I mean, some of the sharing on the course I felt, really quite privileged by. And also the honesty. There was one person who was sharing with me that, with the group actually, not just me, that they were very honest, that rather than trying to work at it for one relationship and a long-term relationship, they'd actually often gone to get another relationship, and basically not even necessarily a relationship, but just to fulfill their needs elsewhere. And they recognised that this was quite this was quite selfish. It was all about them. They didn't really want to put the work in. And I mean, they're now trying to change some of that. Trying to change some of that for themselves. And some of those sort of challenges and issues they were talking about were, and a number of other people on the course as well. Really, it was came down to often 99% of the time needing to love themselves more, and if you for various reasons don't ultimately love yourself enough, then you can't really give your full focus and attention to being able to love somebody else in a relationship without it about sort of issues coming up and perhaps not being able to deal with it in an effective way. There was another person sharing, talking about how they'd been with somebody for years and years, and their partner had now got to a point where they were quite physically disabled, to a point where they don't really have a physical relationship anymore. And this was something that this particular individual was saying, if they were really honest, they missed. And they talked about that inner conflict of wanting to experience that and almost wondering, well, do they wait till the other person dies? How do they know they're gonna, they might outlive this, person on the course? So, that would mean that they would never have a physical, sexual relationship with anybody else again. But then, this inner conflict around that not sort of feeling okay, because they'd obviously spoken about it at some point and their partner had made it very clear they wouldn't be happy with that. And so, there was, sort of no answers in some respects, but them just being able to share those challenges really, and the inner conflicts around and around the emotions and feelings involved, because they are on so many levels committed to that relationship, and part of amongst other things, part of what we were talking about on the course was what we call the triangular theory of love, and it talks about 3 key components being passion, intimacy and commitment, and how all 3 can interconnect, and if you have more of one than another, that then affects not only the relationship but what type of relationship you may be in, or maybe not, maybe that's a potential reason why it's not developing any further. And the ideal, if you like, is to have all 3 present to some significant degree. Obviously, but it's quite obvious, I think, to many people that those components will change over time depending upon what's happening in a relationship, depending upon those 2 individuals, depending upon how committed people are. So it was really quite, just really lovely actually to be part of that and to hear people sharing. There was another person who talks about how they'd trusted perhaps a bit too much too soon and shared quite a big aspects of their life, and that when they had split up after a couple of years of this relationship, that they felt immensely hurt because they said this person had used the reason they'd split as this big part of herself that she'd shared, which she'd obviously felt quite vulnerable about because of what it was about. And then we talked about that on some level, and saying that it's, and even she knew deep down, she was saying, I know that that's just an excuse to get out of the relationship. It wouldn't have been about that. There would have been about many other factors. So it's there's no perfect ideal relationship. And I think that's quite important to be very mindful and aware of. I think in terms of a healthy relationship, we were sort of talking about healthy or unhealthy relationships, and got them to do what I call a relationship analysis on. Could be present people, it could be exes, and really looking at to what degree they and others showed them, and they showed they showed their partner, and their partner showed them. There are many qualities, including respect, reciprocity, many lists of qualities that were there, and just getting them to then, trust was another one, and getting them to rate that and then reflect on, what did they notice about this, what was it telling them, what did they need more of and less of. And in a healthy relationship, we were talking about boundaries, and not just having boundaries, but being really clear about what your boundaries are and communicating that. Come here, Will! Communicating that to somebody else. Will's just saying hello. Oh yeah, Dalmatian.
I won't move because I don't want the dog.
No, honestly, that's lovely of you. Thank you.
Okay. I had somebody do that to me. Just walk out.
Yeah.
In the road.
Not really that sort of, not that mindful, is it, at that point?
No.
Lovely dog.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I know, I said, I think previously, didn't I? Never. It's interesting when you bring a dog to any area really, but in this park, it's like, it's only a small, fairly local park, but people are so quite lovely, quite friendly, just willing to just sort of say hi, have a chat. But anyway, so healthy relationships. So boundaries, and also about being clear about what your needs are and how you're communicating those to another person, and really, I think making sure that you're on the same page. I think that's the piece as somebody else, not assuming or thinking and being clear about that. So that was another sort of piece of the healthy relationship. And there was many other components that we looked at. So, in fact, I've just had somebody, ironically, who I know I've offered somebody else they know some therapy. They've asked me if somebody else that they've referred to me, and just said very briefly that they tend to undermine themselves in their relationships. So I'm going to follow that up over the next day or two. So yeah, that's my thoughts, my musings, my reflections. So if you'd like to contact me, or you know anybody else who does, in relation to looking at themselves in terms of how they go about going into creating a new relationship, or they may be in a current one and they want to re-look at that because it doesn't seem to be quite working for them, or reigniting something that maybe they have had in that relationship that they want to sort of look at again. Navigating, I love that phrase, navigating your way through, which isn't always that easy. So that's me for today, guys, or for this morning anyway. So have the rest, come on, well, have the rest of a moochy, wonderful, my word, Monday, and we'll speak to you later, guys. Take care, bye.